Elizabeth married 4 times, each relationship reflecting different phases of her life. Frederick Gallatin Cameron. Her first marriage in 1954 lasted less than a year. Gig Young, an Oscar-winning actor with whom she shared a troubled, alcohol-laced marriage from 1956 to 1963. William Asher, a successful TV director and producer who co-created Bewitched. They were married from 1963 to 1973. Robert Foxworth, her final and longest partnership. Although they never legally married, she spent nearly 20 years with him until her death. Elizabeth Victoria Montgomery was born on April 15, 1933, in Los Angeles, California, into a prestigious showbiz family. Her father, Robert Montgomery, was a renowned actor and later a television producer. Her mother, Elizabeth Bryan Allen, was a Broadway actress. Elizabeth grew up surrounded by stardom and the complexities that came with it. Raised in privilege but under the strict and often emotionally distant influence of her father, Elizabeth developed an early sense of rebellion. While her father hoped she would follow a traditional path, Elizabeth wanted independence and freedom to choose her own way even within the industry he dominated. She attended the prestigious Spence School in New York and later studied at the American Academy of Dramatic Arts. It was clear early on that she had inherited not just her father's talent but also a burning desire to create her own identity. Her first TV appearance was in 1955 on her father's show, Robert Montgomery Presents, but Elizabeth did want to be known as his daughter. Throughout the 1950s, she appeared in many anthology series and theater productions, gradually earning respect in her own right. Elizabeth married 4 times, each relationship reflecting different phases of her life. Frederick Gallatin Cameron. Her first marriage in 1954 lasted less than a year. Gig Young, an Oscar-winning actor with whom she shared a troubled, alcohol-laced marriage from 1956 to 1963. William Asher, a successful TV director and producer who co-created Bewitched. They were married from 1963 to 1973. Robert Foxworth, her final and longest partnership. Although they never legally married, she spent nearly 20 years with him until her death. In 1964, Elizabeth was cast as Samantha Stephens, a good-natured witch married to a mortal man in the show Bewitched. It became an instant hit, making her one of the biggest television stars of the decade. For 8 seasons, she charmed audiences with a wiggle of her nose and her warmth, humor, and grace. But behind the scenes, things were not so magical. She was unhappy in her marriage to William Asher. Even as they collaborated on the show, she grew frustrated with the repetitiveness of her character. Wanting to do more serious, meaningful work, she dealt with tabloid rumors about her relationships, especially the alleged romantic tension between her and co-star Dick York, which she always denied. Still, Elizabeth remained professional, and her commitment kept the show afloat, even through cast changes and ratings dips. After Bewitched ended in 1972, Montgomery deliberately stepped away from sitcoms. She reinvented herself through serious roles in TV movies like The Legend of Lizzie Borden, 1975, where she portrayed the infamous accused axe murderer, A Case of Rape, 1974, a harrowing performance that highlighted her bravery in tackling taboo issues. Amos, 1975, and many other roles that showed her range and depth. Elizabeth proved she was not just a one-hit wonder. She consistently chose roles that dealt with women's struggles, injustice, and human suffering, winning multiple Emmy nominations. Montgomery was not just a performer. She was an outspoken political and social activist. She opposed the Vietnam War during a time when it was controversial to do so in Hollywood. She advocated for women's rights, gay rights, and AIDS awareness long before it was mainstream. She narrated political documentaries, including Cover Up, Behind the Iran-Contra Affair. She refused to play perfect women on screen, choosing instead to show human complexity. Despite being part of conservative Hollywood royalty, Elizabeth was firmly progressive, often putting her career at risk for her beliefs. In her later years, Elizabeth lived quietly with her partner Robert Foxworth in Beverly Hills. She was known to be deeply private, preferring gardening, painting, and spending time with her children William, Robert, and Rebecca from her marriage to William Asher. In 1900, she was diagnosed with colon cancer, a disease she kept hidden from the public. She passed away peacefully in her sleep on May 8 in 1995, at the age of 62. Just 2 months after her diagnosis. The news shocked fans around the world, as her illness had been a secret. Elizabeth Montgomery's legacy is far more than Bewitched. She broke barriers for women in television, was one of the first TV actresses to speak openly on political issues, helped pave the way for TV movies tackling tough topics, remains a cultural icon, inspiring generations of actors, especially women. Her children described her not just as a star, but as a very human mother, who was both nurturing and complex. Co-stars remembered her as professional, witty, and politically brave.